So I've been doing this really annoying thing where I get really close to myself in the mirror. Oh, that sounded really weird. I approach the mirror very closely. That also sounded really weird. My face gets right up against the mirror, and I just start inspecting every pore on my skin, just start picking at all of it. And then I kind of wonder why I have irritated red marks for days when it was just a microscopic little blackhead that I was picking at that I made into a huge issue. But, anyways, I just spent the last 10 minutes doing that, and it seems to be a recurring issue that I am having. So, if anybody has any suggestions as to how to overcome this behavior and this issue, I would love to hear it. But all right, so let's get after it. On this episode, I want to talk about something that I spent a lot of time talking about last week with Nico. And it was kind of a conversation that I didn't really realize impacted me so heavily and that I felt so passionate about. The premise of the conversation was basically that we are all given the same 24 hours in a day. And although I do a lot, I have a full-time job, I have a part-time job, I record the podcast, I run a lot, like I trained for a marathon recently, I socialize frequently, I write, I paint, I do a lot of stuff in my free time, and it just feels like I'm not doing enough. When I tell people that, they're like, oh, you're doing too much. Like, I don't understand how you have enough time in your day to do that. I don't know how you do X, Y, and Z. I don't know how you do blah, blah, blah. I'm so tired. It doesn't make me feel better hearing that I'm quote unquote doing too much because I know that I'm not. I know that I skipped out on my last set at the gym, or I know that I ate two serving sizes at dinner, or I know that I'm not up to date on our current events, and I have no idea what's happening in politics. I have no idea what's happening in the stock market. And there's all of these things that I want to know so desperately, but don't understand or can't figure out how to manage my time effectively to make it feel like I'm getting the most out of my 24 hours. It's really tough because if we go back to my last podcast, when I talked about the phrase, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, I want to be around other ambitious people that aren't telling me that I'm doing too much, that are inspiring me to do more and be better. And at the end of the day, all I want to do is do more. I don't want to sit around and be lethargic. I want to be around people that inspire me and motivate me to do more and be better, because at the end of the day, all I want to do is do more and be the best person that I can be and contribute as much as I can to myself, to others. That's just what I want to do. And that's how I see my life panning out. It's been really difficult for me lately because I'm constantly being looked at and told that I'm doing way too much, and people can't believe how much I'm doing. Oh, you have a part-time job and you're working a full-time job and you have a podcast and you have a social life. Yeah, I do. And I still feel like I'm not doing enough. And when I say that, I mean it. I want to do so much. I want to be a hard worker at work. I want to be a great friend and a sister and a daughter. I want to be a creator with my podcast, with my painting, with my writing. I want to live a healthy lifestyle, so I want to work out. I want to eat a healthy, well balanced diet. I want to be educated on current events that are going on. I want to also be educated in general. Like, there's nothing more intelligent to me than when somebody relates an event in history to our current day. And I wish I could come up with an example of what I'm talking about, just because it just displays that I don't know history at all. And so that's one of the areas that I'm lacking in. And I know what you're probably thinking. Why don't you just go and study in that area or learn about this thing? Because there's always another thing. And it feels debilitating that I can't do it all. And so then I try and compensate with that by not doing anything. And that makes me feel worse. It makes me feel so much worse. At the end of the day, I want to have a jam-packed day. And I want to be tired and I want to need to go to bed. I don't want to have to lay down, get myself ready. Like, I want to be exhausted. I want to be wiped. I want to be ready for the next day because of how tired I am, because of how much I exerted myself, and mentally, emotionally, physically, whatever. I want challenging stimulation, I guess, is what I'm getting at. But it's been so difficult and it's hard to articulate into a way that makes sense. But I constantly feel like I'm only giving 98%. of what I have to offer. And the other 2%, I don't know how to access and I don't know how to tap into. And it's something that I really want to tap into. And I'm not sure that I alone have the capability of doing it. And I think that I have to really ultimately ask for help from others in doing that, because I also know that a lot of me seeks validation from others. And so I'm way higher performer when an audience is around. And that's because I need not even validation, but just being with other people gives me energy. Okay, so I know what you're probably thinking. Why would you need other people to help you feel better about doing things on your own? Okay, let me give you an example. So, for instance, the more I hang out with people that have different experiences, different outlooks on life, or just more experience in general, or more knowledge about a certain subject matter, the more I learn myself and the more that I want to learn. I was talking to my brother Nico about sustainability and learned that Greenpeace recently said for Americans to stop recycling their plastics. Why, you may ask? Because we send our plastics somewhere else to be disposed of or to be recycled. And we recently found out that sending our plastics to those locations, they're not properly disposing of them or properly recycling them, I should say. And so they're actually just getting dumped back into the ocean. So why waste the emissions to fly our plastics all the way out to some place just to have them flown somewhere else, to have them dumped in the ocean? Let's just dump them in the ocean ourselves. So that's kind of the first point that I have, is just you learn so much from being around other people. And also, it's easier to be motivated when you're with other people. It's easier to want to go and do things when you know that somebody else is there or that somebody else is relying on you to be there. You become a lot more accountable. This is probably why gym partners are so huge, gym buddies or whatever. It is so easy to snooze through your alarm and not want to wake up and go to the gym, or not want to stick to a diet, or not learn something. Like, I have been signed up for this coding class at Harvard for over 6 months, and I haven't done anything with it because I can't figure out when I want to sit down and allocate the time to do it. I don't know, maybe that's on me because I need somebody else to be there for me, but that's not necessarily a need. It's a want, it's a help. I need help. And someone else kind of being there with me, going through some of the same items, for instance, this coding class, it would help me progress more as an individual and help me learn more and help me therefore be a better person and help me do more. And I think that that's largely what I'm trying to get at when I say, if you go back to my last episode, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, because I want to be around other people that make positive impacts. I want to be around other people that want to take coding classes with me and want to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the gym with me and want to do all of these extra things that I want to do because it makes me a better person and I'm able to help contribute to somebody else being the best version of themselves. And so overall, it's just a way better feeling than, okay, I'm going to wake up at 5 and I'll go to the gym, but no one's really going to be there supporting me. Like, this is just something that I'm doing, which, again, I do, but I don't want it to sound like I'm just looking for affirmations from other people. I'm saying that it's easier. Here's what I'll say. It's lonely. It's lonely to do these things. It's lonely to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym every morning. It's lonely to take a coding class by yourself. It's lonely to be the only sober person in the room at a party because you know that you want to wake up and do so many things the next day. It's lonely. And that's what I'm trying to articulate here. It's hard to want to do more. It's not hard to want to do more. It's easy to want to do more. But it's hard to actually do more when you don't have anybody else to do it with. And maybe you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, Sarah, you sound really desperate. This seems like you need a boyfriend or a significant other to kind of help you along with this. No, that's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that I want to surround myself with people that make me the best version of myself, that I can help contribute to them being the best version of themselves. And It's just about trying to form a network of those strong, gritty relationships and those strong connections to people because of experiences that you're going through together, like a coding class or like waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's just experiencing things with other people, whether it's a significant other or a friend. But to be completely honest, I've always been extremely envious of those people that can go to the gym with a gym partner, largely because my gym time is my one time to be alone. So I'm completely fine with going to the gym alone and not having somebody else there to work out with. And maybe I would change my mind completely on that concept if I did have a gym partner and I did go to the gym with somebody consistently, just because I genuinely don't know what it's actually like to have a gym partner. I'm assuming you don't do all of the same workouts. You can just show up at the gym at the same time and you know you're both there. And I think just having the knowledge of knowing somebody else is there is comforting and helpful. But at the same time, in my brain, how I think of it is that if I'm going to the gym with somebody, we're doing all the same exercises and I have to talk to somebody in addition to work out. And that is not something that I'm interested in doing because for me, gym time is my one time to be alone. And specifically running. I genuinely hate running with other people. And that's because, number one, it's super hard to talk and run at the same time. It is hard enough to run in general. And then adding the talking into that mix, when am I supposed to be doing the breathing? Okay, like when does the breathing and the talking mix in with this hard cardio exercise that I'm doing? And when I say hard cardio exercise, I really mean me running at like a 10-minute mile pace next to somebody, which I'm fine doing. I just don't want to talk to you. I can't, not that I don't even want to, that I can't. But for me, I feel obligated. I feel obligated to talk to people because, again, I get my energy from being around other people. So if someone else is with me, I'm feeling energized. And a very similar thing happens to me on the bus in the morning when I'm on my way to work. I would call myself a morning person. It is very easy for me to wake up and just get going with my day. I don't hit snooze 10 million times. I just get up and I go. I don't want to talk to anybody in the morning. I don't want to talk to anybody until around 9 a.m. after I've already worked out, after I've already eaten. Yeah, just after I've gotten my day going by myself. And so when I get on the bus and I see people that work at my company or that I just know in general, I feel this weird sort of obligation to talk to them. And I know deep down that they don't want to talk to me because they're tired and they just got on the bus and they're probably having the same process of thought that I am, that they just want to have their alone time and decompress before showing up to the office. But I can't help but ignore that and choose to speak to that person anyways. And that's kind of just an example of how I'd probably also act at the gym. Unless I was super duper duper comfortable with that individual, I think that I would just end up talking to them more than I actually want to talk to them. And then I would just get frustrated. So that's, again, why I don't have a gym partner. But I would like someone to go to like a pottery class with me or go to an art studio or learn how to play an instrument together or go to a coding class with me. And I don't know how to go and seek out these people aside from just asking around my friend groups of being like, hey, is anybody interested in doing this? And I know the answer is already going to be no, or it's going to be yes, but can we go get drinks after? But that's not what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on the drinks. I want to focus on the actual event of what we're going and setting out to do. Like if we're going to the coding class, we're going to the coding class. And maybe we'll get food after, but the goal is not to drink. I don't want to do that. That's not what I'm intending on. Why does everything have to revolve around drinking? And I guess, why did my podcast all have to revolve around drinking? It might be what you're asking yourself, but they don't. And they also don't revolve all around sobriety. I am sober, and so it is easy for me to talk about and make comments about, but I digress. I just want people to want to do the things that I want to do, and selfishly, I want to focus on the thing that I actually want to do, and I want to find people that actually want to do that thing and not looking for the next thing after that, which is really funny to say because I'm always looking for the next thing, but in this moment, I mean, I just want to be able to do one thing and focus on one thing. And I want to have somebody else there for it. I want to have somebody else be there for this coding class. I want to have somebody else be there for this pottery class, this cooking class, whatever I end up choosing, whatever I want to do. And that's it. That's pretty much all I want, because then I'll be more accountable, and then I think I'll feel like I'm giving more of my 100% to something. And that's pretty much all I've got. I mean, I think I have a good grasp on where my goals are at, and I think I know how to manage them pretty well. I know that we all have the same 24 hours, and it's easy to beat yourself up for not utilizing all 24 of them in the most maximized way. But some days are like that, and I think that I need to learn to be better about accepting that. But I also want to try and be around other people that uplift me and make me feel like I'm giving 100%, or that are making me feel like I'm doing more and that I'm feeling like I'm contributing to them being a better person. So, holistically, that's what I'm looking at. I'm just looking at being a better person, being able to do more with other people that want to do more. And maybe this is a cry for help. So if you're listening to this, you live in the Boston area, and you also want to do a coding class, pottery class, painting class, hit me up, let me know, and we can go and do that. But yeah, so thanks for listening.